We have learned how to create different object, background, text, font, colors. Now let's learn how to move the object. In game, you have to animate the objects, you have to move the objects. Now we will see a small program which will move image. So the name of this program is image movement. Image movement exists, image move. Okay. As usual, the first steps is importing the necessary libraries. Pygame. After importing the necessary libraries, the next step is to initialize all the modules. So pygame.init method is used to initialize all the modules in the program. If you are not using pygame.init method, then you have to import individual modules by using pygame. The name of the function or the class .init. In this way, you can initialize the module. But pygame.init method initializes all the module at once. After the initialization, let's create a display. To create a display, we are going to use the size of the window. Size is equal to, let's take 600. We'll create big window. 1000, 500. Okay. Now to create a window, there is a function which is pygame.display. And with the help of that, we can set the window size. So screen is equal to pygame.display dot set mode, and let's pass the size. Okay. Or you can also write size here directly. We have created a tuple and we are passing the tuple here. Okay. After creating the window, you can load any image. You can create your own cartoon character, game character, and you can load that. Pygame.image.load, and here I'm going to load my favorite cartoon character, penguin, angry bird, peng.png, and use the method convert. You can also skip this step. You can skip this convert function as well. The next thing is clock timing is very important because it updates your screen as per the frame per second count. So to set the frame per second count, you have to use the method which is pygame.time.clock method. So let's create another variable which is clock and use pygame.time.clock. Okay. So C is capital here. The next thing is we are going to create some variable which is x and y. Now, the main important thing is we are moving an object. To move an object, we need to change the coordinates of the x and y. So at any position, if you are putting your image, you have to increment that image or decrement that image to move the image to left or right. So based on the x and y, our image will shift to the another location. Basically, when we move any object, we don't literally shift the image. We just recreate the image at some another location and we just erase the image which was at the previous position. So what we are going to do now, we are going to change the coordinates of the x and y, and that coordinates will get updated and the previous image will be erased. So you can move this image based on the increment factor. So if you want to move the image by 1 location, 2 location, 5 location, so it depends on you how you want to move your image. So what we are going to do is the basic thing is we are just going to increment the values of x and y, or we are going to decrement the values of x and y. It's up to you whether you want to move image to left side or right side. Here I'm not going to control the image, so we will do that in the next program. Here I'm just going to move the image either to left or to the right. Okay. Now after creating the time clock, let's create the variables. So we need to initialize the variable first and dynamically we will update these two variables. So initially I want my image to be at this position, which is 405. Now also create one more variable which is done and set it as true. Then now I want background in the black color. So I'll create one tuple and I'll set the color to 0000000 means black. Now let's create a game while loop. So while done. So this loop will run until the value of done changes to false. Okay. And again we have to do the same thing. We have to check all the events which is happening and we have to log all those events in the event queue. Then we will create a for loop. With the help of that for loop, we will iterate through all the events and based on the event type, we will take the required action. So if the event type is quit, we will quit the application. And if the event type is not quit, then we will proceed with the logic which we have written in the while loop. Now we are going to iterate all the events in the event queue for event in pygame dot event dot get method. So let's iterate all the events in the event queue. Check the event type. If event dot type is equal to pygame dot quit. If someone presses the quit button, then we are going to change the status of done and we will set it as false. Okay. So in case if someone doesn't quits the application, then we will write the code. So if now what we want to do, we want to change the location of the image or we want to move the image. To move the image, I told you we have to just change the coordinates of x and y. Here I want to move image horizontally. So I will change only the x coordinate. If you want to move vertically, then you have to change the y coordinate. So I'll keep y coordinate as it is and I'll just change the x coordinate. So I want to move the x coordinate. So what I'll do, I will increment or decrement my x coordinate by some parameter. And in this while loop, I'm writing the code. So dynamically it will get updated. So x is equal to -5. Then screen. Now let's set the background with the help of fill parameter and you can set any color. So let's set black color, but you can't directly write the name of the color. First you have to initialize that color. You have to use the color code or. So this is the color code for black. I have initialized it first and then I'm going to use it. So if you want to use any other color, you can directly use it here. You can just pass the name of the color code. Okay. The next thing is after loading the image, we need to put that image on the background and I want to update that image dynamically as well. So screen dot blit. Blit is the method which is used to put the object on the screen. So with the help of blit method, I'm going to do that. So let's put whatever the image we have on the screen and put it on some coordinates which is x and y. Now let's update the screen. So pygame dot display dot update. Another method to update the screen is the flip method. You can also use that to update the specific areas of the screen. Then you can refresh your screen based on the clock ticks. So that will speed up your animation or it will slow down your animation. If you want to speed up, then you have to give more frame per second, and if you want to slow down, then give less frame per second. Then clock tick is 30 and then let's quit the application pygame dot quit and run the program. And we got the output and it's not moving. Now let's see what is the problem. Because I wrote okay. See, the image is moving now. So this is moving horizontally because I set X parameter. So if you want to move the image vertically, then you need to set the Y parameter. So let's set y parameter here and let's check. See, the image is going up. So in this way, you can animate your image, you can move your image